Or no, okay. Thank you. But I'm supposed to be.
Hi, Vicki, I can hear you. So you're all set.
Okay. Tell me when you need me to mute.
You can mute right now, and we're going to start in 1 minute, but just know that you're ready to go. It works.
Okay.
All right. Thank you. My long lost sister. Hi. I'm going to mute myself now. Hi, Dauda. Thanks for being here.
Hi, Caroline. Thank you.
Hi, Vicki.
Hi, Sharon. Glad to see you too.
Yeah, I'm glad to see you, Sharon. I'm so glad you all made it through the cold.
Thank you, Dauda. Thanks, everyone. Thanks, Caroline. Thanks, Miss Vicki. Nice seeing you all.
Oh, it's so good to meet you too.
Thank you.
Oh, y'all, okay, it's 5:30. We're gonna give other, I'm gonna mute myself for a moment, just make sure things are cool on our end. Thank you. I'm just making sure your mics for the panelists are all working, and they are. Hey y'all, we're going to give other people a couple minutes to come on in. I have a message from someone who doesn't hear the sound. So for that person, it seems like it's working on our end. So try it again. You'll stay on mute, but you should hear me. Can the rest of you hear me? Just give a wave. Yeah. Okay, great. And the other thing we are doing is updating the names as much as we can. I just wanted to introduce myself briefly while we're waiting for folks to come on in. I'm the educator at Louisiana's Old State Capitol, and my name is Caroline Kennedy. The Old State Capitol is that beautiful building downtown. I'm going to show you a picture of that in just a second. We'll, in the meantime, while we're waiting, we'll give you all a brief overview of how to use Zoom. So tonight we're going to ask you all to hover over the lower left-hand corner of your screen to that microphone and mute yourself. And that way we can hear our speakers and the films that we're going to show. And then if you hover over the center lower part of your screen, you'll get a chance to ask questions throughout the program without having to wave a hand or speak up. And I'll be monitoring that chat box, and we'll be sure to get to all of.
Caroline, you're muted.
And there we go. Thank you. Thanks. So there are two of us working the controls. So I'm going to stop and let the IT person who knows what she's doing, that's Brooke Goodrich, is helping us with the IT tonight. Thank you, Anne. So I'll start again and just introduce myself. I'm Caroline Kennedy, the educator at Louisiana's Old State Capitol, that beautiful building in downtown Baton Rouge. In the meantime, if you didn't hear me, if you hover over the lower left-hand portion of your screen, you can mute yourself And when it's time for our panelists to speak, well, you'll unmute yourself, but if you're just here to relax and sit back and enjoy the program, you don't have to do a thing unless you've got a question, and then you will hover over the lower middle portion of your screen and push the word chat, C-H-A-T, and type in any questions you have as you have them. We'll get to as many, thank you. We'll get to as many of your questions as we can. And we'll just wait one more minute. I've got the thumbs up that everything is going pretty well, although a few are Saturday, and it took a day to warm up again, but I got to do a lot of reading by candlelight. So it was actually it wasn't as bad as I thought it would be. Thanks so much. We're just gonna wait another half minute, and I will check on our admit all just to make sure that's working. Thank you. So welcome again, y'all, and thanks so much for joining us tonight, and thanks for your understanding. I'm pretty sure that power and Wi-Fi were off for most, if not all of you last week. So I want to thank our presenters for agreeing to postpone and join us here this evening. The program will be recorded. So if you know anyone that would be interested in seeing the program again, we will send the link out for the recording in just a day or so to anyone who registered for the program. You can feel free to share that, and it'll probably be on our website too. We're speaking tonight about immigration and about new Americans, people who've come here to add their part to the American story. This program is inspired by one of the current exhibits at Louisiana's Old State Capitol called Jacob A. Riis, How the Other Half Lives. This exhibit is brought to us by the National Endowment for the Arts Traveling Exhibition Program. It's just one of many exhibitions currently on view. If you haven't seen us in a while, please come and join us. You can visit safely during this pandemic if you wear a mask. The building is large enough to maintain social distancing safely, and we have sanitation stations located throughout. This particular exhibit is up through Saturday, March 13th, and there are lots of other things to see and do here as well. This exhibition, How the Other Half Lives, shows the lives of people from 100 or so years ago, most of whom were immigrants to the United States. Jacob Riis, who himself emigrated from Denmark, lived in abject poverty in the tenement slums of New York City for several years. When he got a job for the press and a second job as a police reporter at night, he took photographs of his fellow immigrants who were desperately impoverished in spite of working long hours, most days of the week, in dreary work conditions or working piecework activities from home. When these photos that he took that you're seeing now were first published to the general public, they revealed a side of life that many Americans never knew existed in their country, especially within one of the world's most successful economies at the time. The impact of these photographs changed the political landscape forever, ushering in social reforms such as labor laws, education for children, and other support. Louisiana was the largest immigration site in the United States long before New York's Ellis Island was a gateway. So tonight we're going to ask, what is happening today with immigration to Louisiana? Who is coming here? From where are they coming from? And why? And what challenges are these new neighbors of ours facing? Our first guest speaker to help us with those questions is Victoria Tangi, who began teaching English as a second language, called ESL, with Migration and Refugee Services of Catholic Charities in 1990. Today, she continues teaching ESL and preparation for U.S. citizenship with East Baton Rouge Public School System, adult and continuing ed. She's not only an educator with 30+ years of experience, but she works on research projects that take her on frequent international travel, is often called upon as a guest teacher here and abroad, has a deep commitment to the intricacies of intercultural communication, and is committed to keeping up with the often changing world of immigrant and refugee issues. I've known Vicki for years, and I know we're lucky to have her here tonight because of just how busy she is. And you're about to find out why. We're going to welcome Vicki, who's live with us on the call, through a short film that we took of her just about 10 days ago. So we'll run that film. Thank you, Brooke. I can't hear it, Brooke. Thanks for your patience. We're going to run that again. Nope.
Here and talk about my life's work and passion. I'm on the front lines, so to speak, when it comes. Hello, I'm so happy to be here and talk about my life's work and passion. I'm on the front lines, so to speak, when it comes to immigration, and immigration today and the kinds of people who come here may not be what you've heard about or seen in the news or on social media. When I started teaching ESL 30 years ago, my students were primarily from Vietnam, but we also had students from other parts of Southeast Asia, South America, Central America, Europe, and later on we had students from war-ravaged nations of Eastern Europe and the Middle East. Trends in immigration largely depend on what's happening politically worldwide, in addition to economic factors and other things like natural disasters that can devastate a nation. The common thread for people coming here is the dream to make a better life in America, just as it was in the time of Jacob Riis 100 years ago. A pivotal point in my professional and my personal life was being invited to be part of a delegation to Vietnam. We were invited by the Vietnamese Minister of Education because at that time, in 1995, North American English had been declared the official business language of Vietnam. I was treated with great reverence simply because of the language that I spoke. I'm now with East Baton Rouge Parish Public School System's Adult and Continuing Education in the ESL department. And our students are predominantly from Latin America, with others coming from the Middle East, Eastern Europe, Africa, and Asia. This graph shows the difference in place of origin for immigrants from a century ago during the time of Jacob Riis and comparing it with today's immigrants. In our program, we provide classes that help with English language acquisition, social skills, how to find a job, and just in general, how to navigate our society right here in Louisiana. Sometimes I play a game with myself. I imagine what it would be like to go to a place where no one can understand me, where I don't understand them, where I might have no familiarity with the writing system. And overnight, I have to find a place to live, a job, food, transportation, and enroll my children or grandchildren in school. In addition, I would have probably left behind loved ones, not to mention the social customs and all the things that I was familiar with and that I took for granted. For me, I would be embracing or fearing everything that was new and at the same time starting from zero. This is what it's like for many people coming here today. So why come? You might wonder, why go through all this? Well, for many people, the home countries are embroiled in war, or they're experiencing extreme famine, political persecution, or any combination of these things. And then we also have people who have a comfortable life, but they still yearn for what the United States has to offer. America is still called the land of opportunity for a chance at a better life. In general, the people who come here want to work, want to be productive members of society. As a community and as a nation, we want that too. We want productive citizens. That's why we offer the services that we do and try to help newcomers to our society, to our part of the world, move forward on their own life's journey. My job is to help with English acquisition through ESL, English as a Second Language. So I might have a class with people with as many as 10 different languages. And I don't speak any of those languages because even though I have studied languages, I'm not fluent in anything else. So for the lowest level classes, we use a lot of facial expressions, which is very, very difficult with COVID because in our classroom we're masked up to the eyes. And so I have to exaggerate my eye and my hand movements and my body language even more. We have lots of manipulatives and we have lots of visual aids. We use multisensory instruction. We have videos, we have listening, we have music. We have a lot of movement, and that helps. That sort of goes along with the textbooks we use. We do have excellent level textbooks that help them get through this. And we avoid translation unless someone is very, very nervous and we just have to do that. But for the most part, translation does not aid the speed of language learning. We use things like the alphabet charts on the wall to show not only the sound of the letter, but the name of the letter. For example, we have the letter B, but the sound of B is not B, it's B, B. It doesn't become B until you put a vowel afterwards. And we have charts, and we have little manipulative clocks so they can understand how to read a clock in the language that we use. And these things help understand life skills as well as language skills. For example, we can use 3 calendars, the last month's calendar, the present month's calendar, and next month's calendar to illustrate verb tenses. This was, this is, and this will be. And we also have a lot of other things available to us. Learning a new language takes a long time, But that's not the only thing we teach. We also teach preparation for U.S. citizenship. And the steps to citizenship might also not be what you think. First of all, to even apply to become a citizen, you have to have been a legal permanent resident, a green card holder, for 5 years, at least 5 years, unless you're married to another U.S. citizen, in which case it's just 3 years. Then when you make the N400 application, which is long and complex, but we help them through that, they have to have money. It takes a lot of time and a lot of money. And the fee for processing an application, along with the biometrics, the background check, the fingerprint check, all of that comes to, I think, between $1,100 and $1,400. The average time from when the application is received and stamped received is anywhere from 12.5 to 17.5 months. And that's if they are going through the New Orleans regional office. All the while, the people who are waiting through this process are usually working and paying taxes. Many are volunteering in their children's schools and doing lots of volunteer work in the community. Once the final step is reached, that means the person has gone for the oral interview, has passed the reading, the English reading and writing component, as well as answering the civics and history questions. Then the person is given an appointment to go to take the oath of citizenship, a very solemn and moving event. And once they have that final step, they know that citizenship is not to be taken lightly. One of the questions on the citizenship test concerns what is one right of citizenship that is also It's very important for students who come through us to understand the gravity of becoming a U.S. citizen. There's so many benefits, but it also comes with responsibilities. Many people in our country are taking little tests online, little examples of the citizenship, and it says, could you pass this test? Well, less than 2 years ago, there was a test given to a sampling of Louisiana citizens, U.S. citizens who were born here. And I have to say Louisiana ranked very, very low on the scores. So it's kind of fun. If you go to the USCIS website, you can see the new questions for citizenship. 120 something that people have to study and know, not just memorizing the answers, they have to understand the meaning. We work on critical thinking skills with this as well, not just what is the date or what is the answer, yes or no. It's the why and the how that fall under this. So in closing, I just want to say that my career working with immigrants and refugees has inspired me to explore more of my own origins, because unless we are Native Americans, we all came from some other place.
Thank you all so much. Thank you, Vicki. And we're going to ask, because so many people are joining us whose names appear to be the same name as our IT helper tonight, Brooke Goodrich. If you're able to update your names from home, please do so. If not, don't worry. You're still here with us, and it's okay to be a big room full of Brooks. I also am addressing some questions in the chat, but we will open those questions up at the end towards the end of the program so our experts can also address those. Vicki, I can't thank you enough. This project has been amazing, and you've inspired me so much, as well as all of your students, and I got to meet so many of them who really, really appreciate everything you do. It's way beyond English acquisition. It's giving a helping hand towards understanding a brand new culture and welcoming them here as new Americans. So thank you. And now it's my honor to welcome Sharon NJ, who is the assistant to Dauda Sesay, the Refugee Congress delegate for Louisiana. Mr. Sesay came to the United States in 2009 after harrowing experiences in his home country of Sierra Leone and at refugee camps in Gambia. While in Gambia, however, he assisted fellow refugees, advocating for better living conditions and education for the children. Since coming to America, he's earned a college degree, become a founding member of the Louisiana Organization for Refugees and Immigrants, and has dedicated his life to assisting fellow immigrants on their path to becoming Americans. He's also a member of the Mayor's International Relations Commission, chair of the Commission on Culture and Arts Engagement, and proud father of 5. Ms. Sharon is currently a doctoral candidate for public policy and urban affairs with a concentration in international development at the Nelson Mandela College of Government and Social Sciences at Southern here in Baton Rouge. She's also a research associate and adjunct professor at the School of Business and Honors College. Sharon's research interest is in social science and policy related research. And recently she's been involved in, get this, the political economy of artificial intelligence, AI. So she's really on the cutting edge. And she also serves as Mr. Sesay's assistant. Let's welcome them to hear their story and about their organization, including the Baton Rouge Mayor's Initiative. So I welcome Sharon NJ, and I apologize if I'm saying your name incorrectly, and Dauda Sesay.
Thank you so much.
Thanks, Sharon, I can hear you.
Thank you so much, Ms. Caroline, for that outstanding presentation. Ms. Victoria Tangi, thank you so much for your presentation. That was amazing to learn a lot about Louisiana. And thanks to the staff of the Old State Capitol for hosting this event. I'm excited to give a talk about the contribution to new Americans. I would like to share my screen with you all. Ms. Caroline, I would like to share my screen.
There we go.
Okay.
Sharon, you got it. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Okay. I'm part of the Louisiana Organization for Refugee and Immigrants in collaboration with the Refugee Congress. And we actually a nonpartisan national advocates organization that builds and lead by former refugees, asylum seekers, and other vulnerable migrants to promote the well-being and integration and dignity of all. The first question that comes to mind when I think about immigration and asylum is to ask a question generally. What comes into your mind when you hear the word immigration? The answer most times is negative. According to a research on migration observatory at the Oxford University on the coverage of immigration in the British press from 2006 to 2015, they found illegal was the most common word used to describe immigrants. It is really notable that there are no words like smart, outstanding, creative, distinguished, pioneering, enterprising, brave that could be used to describe people who only wish to seek protection and have a better life. Our former president, Franklin Roosevelt, once said, remember, remember, always that all of us, and you and I especially, are descendants from immigrants and revolutionists. That was recently also been said by President Biden when he asserted about refugees as America having a human and moral system in place to strengthen our country. What is immigrants all about? According to the Organization for Economic Cooperation and Development, it's just somebody legally living in the country of respondent born abroad in accordance with the official OCDE definition in 2015. This brings me to an acronym I developed in 2020, VAP, which means value added people. I see immigrants not just as people in the United States who come to take, but as people who come to add value to the system. This is a list of names according to the Forbes magazine of 2019. Billionaires with several zeros behind their names. As of 2021, we have Elon Musk as the richest man in the world. He is an immigrant from South Africa, coming through Canada to the United States as a graduate student initially, but he had a dream, he had a vision, and he saw an opportunity. He had the American dream, and today he's the richest man in the world. That notwithstanding, we have other names who have graced our screen over the years, from our CNN Christian Amanpour to the musical sector, Bob Marley, to our chairman of Fox Corporation, to the Hollywood screens. They all are immigrants who came into America and had the American dream. Notwithstanding, we have scientists, doctors, manufacturers, even to our yogurt, all are being made by immigrants. That not leaving out our political leaders who have graced our screens over the years, our former president, Barack Obama, our current vice president, Kamala Harris, they all are children of immigrants who saw light in the United States. Their parents saw the vision and their parents dreamed to become something. And today they are serving in this country and giving their best back to this country. They are not just giving back, but they are adding value to the United States of America. With that being said, none of these same words, same positive words could be used to describe first immigration immigrants today. Now, these visionary immigrants, they use their abilities and opportunities they had here to create companies that not just shape the United States, but the world at large. Should I also add to the fact that these people have not just added value to the United States? What about our current workers? The workers that are serving us in our grocery stores, the workers that are serving us as caregivers, all those people are contributing back to the United States of America and giving back. Today, 1 million of people coming to the United States legally. Immigrants are 14% of the population, which amounts to 43 million people. We are still a land of immigrants, yet we do not treat immigrants as others. I myself came into the United States as a graduate student. International students like me are recruited even today to fill extreme shortage of American students in the STEM fields. For the most part, I have had positive experiences, yet like many other immigrants, I have had experiences that remind me of the other nest. But amidst those experiences, I would say it's been challenging, but yet I saw the better side of Americans showing love and showing the better part of themselves. This brings us to why we, as the Louisiana Organization for Refugee and Immigrants, we work not just with immigrants, not just with asylum seekers, not just with the less privileged, to advocate, to bring immigration aid, to give them access to the language spoken in this land, leadership capacity building, community engagement, youth development. These are some of the works we've done over the years, giving back to the society. I would say, according to John F. Kennedy, everywhere immigrants have enriched and strengthened the fabric of American life. If this is something that actually moves you, then it is high time to be in a position to give back and be in a position for the cause to fight for immigrants. Thank you.
Oh, Sharon, thank you. Man, we're really, really lucky that you're here and that you are here in Baton Rouge. Just reading your resume, which I summarized greatly to introduce you tonight, is so impressive. So again, we're very, very lucky to have you here, Sharon. Thank you very much. And your colleague, Mr. Sesay, is out there too, and may want to add to that and talk about the mayor's initiative that your organization is involved with, if Dauda's out there.
Thank you all. My name is Dauda Sesay, and I'm a community organizer, husband and father of 5 children. And I want to thank you, Ms. Caroline, for your amazing introductions. And also I want to thank Tangi and Michelle and Jai for your immaculate presentation. And special thanks also to the Louisiana Whole State Capitol, the staff, and the leadership for hosting this very, very and well-needed event in our beautiful state of Louisiana, which has a rich history of embracing refugees, immigrants of all walks of life. Quite recently, our nation has been impacted with so many challenges. Especially in our state, we have the hurricanes, the storm, and all of these are happening amid a deadly pandemic, which have significantly impacted people of color, combined with the racial injustice that is also going on. Over the recent years, we have seen terrible immigration policies that have dismantled the life-saving refugee resettlement program, the program I came with. Families that are seeking protection, they got separated. No Americans that are currently living amongst us, they are living in great fear. All of these have once again been reminded us, all of us, of the systemic inequalities and the importance of working together to ensure equality and build a just and welcoming community. want us to take a moment to remember just yesterday, our nation reached 500,000 deaths of this dangerous pandemic. I want us all to take that moment of reflection and remember those that have lost their lives and the family that have lost their loved ones. About 20 years ago, when I was separated from my family, my father, who is my hero, makes our family whole. Family to him means the community. And my father has a deep sense of empathy. I watched community members as a child came to my father with pain, grief, depression, but they left with a smiling face, hopeful, and with courage. At that time, I was just a kid, like any other teenager out there who have inspirations and dreams of becoming what they want to be. As for me, at that time, I wanted to study medicine, become a gynecologist, because the country I came from had the highest infant mortality rate. I was thinking, what can I do to change? But all of my inspiration and goals were shattered when my family and I were forced to leave everything behind after armed rebel attacked my hometown. It was a day that filled with tragedy. I watched 5 of my childhood friends, hands were amputated. My family house was burnt, and I lost my 7-year-old younger sisters. Like my colleague have mentioned about all other immigrants and refugees that have come to the United States, majority of them have a history. Some of them, theirs might be worse than me. As a child, I watched my father got taken away from us while she was pleading for our release. I spent 9 years in a refugee camp where I met my beautiful wife. And as I said, my family and I, we settled here in 2009. After experiencing short suffering here in the United States, I faced other post-resettlement challenges, such as learning a new language, just as part of Wiki presentation, and dealing with discrimination and bullying. But what made the most significant difference in overcoming this hardship and healing from my past trauma has been the welcome I received when I joined my new community, Baton Rouge. Ladies and gentlemen, I always view America as a beacon of hope, and I still do, this great nation. Sometimes the xenophobic and bullying I experienced during my first semester in college here in the United States does not reflect the values of compassion and welcoming this nation holds dear. After I passed my GED test from college, an opportunity he and his siblings never had. So the instant I gained that admission, I knew I was beginning the journey of beginning my family's first college graduate. And most importantly, honor my father's demise, make him proud in heaven. My very first semester in college was so dear to me was in my mind the beginning of the healing of my past trauma. However, I was faced with traumatic experience of bullying by one of my professors who chooses to call me names. Shut as African slave boy, Kunta Kinte, etc., etc. But in the mix of experiencing that racism and bullying, I was overwhelmed with emotion to see so many kinds, compassionate people, especially my classmates, who stood up, who see values in someone who doesn't talk or look like them, stood up on my behalf and put a stop to that by reporting the issue to the dean. Ladies and gentlemen, it is unfortunate that bullying and racism still exist, but we should all denounce all forms of bullying and racism. This great country, the United States, is a country where everyone should be able to pursue the American dream and live in safety. Today, I raise my voice to support immigrants and refugees' rights through my work as the president of the Louisiana Organization for Refugees and Immigrants, and in my capacity as a vice chair of the Refugee Congress Board of Directors, and also a member of Mayor's Broom International Relations Commission. And we are very delighted to see our leaders are working to embrace all and make our city a welcoming nation. Sometimes I pondered and asked myself, what if I could have acted differently? What if my good Samaritan classmates were not bold, compassionate enough to stand up on my behalf? There are a lot of what if over the years. I asked myself, what if, and what if? Just imagine, from my childhood dreams, all of my aspiration to fulfill my late father's wish came down at that moment. That long moment of trauma, depression, and anger, which almost makes me drop out of college. But the constant thoughts of what getting my education meant to me and my family serve as an inspiration in getting through to the finish line. Today, I'm a proud college graduate, and I'm also pursuing my DOJ accreditation and working on my master's. Ladies and gentlemen, my story is similar to so many refugees, asylees, and immigrants living in our neighborhoods. They are our co-workers, schoolmates, neighbors, hospitality workers, cleaners in the hotel. All of us here, we are just living the normal American way of life to contribute to the social and economic fabric of our cities and states. And most importantly, we appreciate your generosity in giving us a second chance at life. So please, if you have listened to all our speakers today, and you listen to my story and you feel compassion, and I urge you to turn that compassion into action by one, supporting our leaders, like our governors and our mayors that are working hard to make our cities very inclusive to all. Secondly, and I ask you today to get to meet those refugees within your neighborhood, within your community. Get to know them, because my story is similar to that of many of them. Sometimes you see the smile in our faces, but behind that smile, we have endured a lot in life. We are an epitome of resilience. And thirdly, support organizations and institutions that are supporting refugees and immigrants, like the Louisiana Organization of Refugees and Immigrants, which is our mission, is to help those refugees and immigrants integrate in our society in order for them to become self-reliant. We all want to be self-reliant, and that's why we appreciate this nation, and we work hard to give back to a community that gave us so much. I want to close with a quote of one of my professors. In as much I had a terrible experience in my first semester, and I have so many great experiences also with my other professors. And at one time I bumped into her and she sent me a text message, and with this quote, say, remember, the cycles of development entails decision-making and preparation for tomorrow's. Say your response to life challenges shape your journey, leading to opportunities or missed. It is not what you say, but what you do. I'll end you all with this quote from a professor, one of my professors, Lil Wansley. And I bumped into her. She is an amazing person. Thank you all for your time, and thank you for listening.
Thank you so much. That was Dauda Sesay, and I encourage all of you who've been inspired by his words to go check out the website of his organization, mylori.org, mylori.org. There's lots of volunteer opportunities there. And you know, there's an awful lot of awful things about this pandemic, but since you brought it up, one thing it's done is make us realize that we really are connected globally, that these issues aren't being faced within a vacuum, that this is a big, broad world. And like your colleague, Sharon, I'm so glad you're here in Baton Rouge. And I think that we're all very lucky to have you, especially our newest Americans. So thanks for all the work that you do. I think your father is proud, and that your family instilled in you values that we also share worldwide. So thanks so much. I appreciate it. Well, before we got together to prepare this talk, I got to meet a whole lot of immigrants that Vicki has taught, and I included a couple of my close friends in the film that we're about to show. Very short film with some of our newest Americans, thanks in part to your work too, Mr. Sesay. So Brooke, if you'll run that, that would be great. And I encourage you all to if you have questions for the mylori.org folks, or for Vicki, to put those in the chat box. I've got a few people are texting me on my phone with some questions as well, and we'll get to those after this film.
I came here in 1982 because I married a delightful American, and I had a very good job opportunity here. And then after a while, in 2014, I decided to become an American citizen. They have this civic course or civic series of questions that everybody, in fact, in America should be able to answer. And before my interview with the immigration officer, I aced it twice. It's 100 questions. So when I come in front of her, a good Cajun woman, by the way, she said, oh, you're 65. You don't need to answer 100 questions. There are only 5 questions for people over 65. We got to the ceremony of citizenship, and it was really moving, because an officer said, okay, somebody wants to tell his or her story to those 150 people who were assembled for the ceremony. And several people stood up and told very, very moving story. And I remember one that really touched me. It was a Honduran guy. I think he said, he stood up and he said, I've been waiting for this moment for 30 years. I've always loved America. But to me, a decisive event in my history of immigration was 9/11. Okay, I was shell-shocked by this terrible event, and this is a moment I truly became an American at heart, because I felt complete solidarity with those innocent, 4,000 innocent people who had been slaughtered by evil. So that was really where things gelled together for me.
My name is Joseph. I am originally from the Sudan. I was a refugee in Ethiopia for over 13 years. I lived with my parents in the refugee camp for most of my life there. But I was offered a chance to resettle to any of the 3 countries, the US, Australia, or Canada. But I chose the US. I came to America in 2001, and I came straight to Louisiana because I came through the Catholic Diocese of Baton Rouge. So I've been living here ever since. I love Louisiana. The weather is good here, and the foods are good. I'm a US citizen now, and I work as an insurance specialist, and I enjoy everything here in Louisiana, and I hope to start my family here.
Hello, I introduce myself. I'm from Honduras, and I've been here in March 29, 2016. I'm married and I have 1 son, and my husband and my son are already citizens for the United States, and I want to pass the test to the citizenship. My husband worked in construction, and I help him to the business in my house, and I can to improve my English to the class, and I ready to get to study to the citizenship classes. And I happy to stay in this country, but I help my son has 11 years old now, but I want to help him and to the study. I like this country, I like this state, and my dream is a citizenship, but I want to stay with my son.
Hi, my name is Mariam Qolizadeh. I'm from Iran. I'm married. I have 1 kid. She is a daughter. She is a girl, and she is 4.5 years old. I'm 40 years old. My husband and I registered for lottery green card 6 years ago, 6 or 7 years ago, and I won a lottery green card, and we came to United States. The first time I came here is hard for me because I didn't know anything about English. I couldn't speak English good. And I'm going to this program, and This is helpful for me. And after 6 years, I'm a citizen, and I'm very happy. Now I'm a part of the United States. I very like the live in United States because the people have freedom, and they can choose and every life they like, and nobody push them for a select other life or something like that.
So, hi, my name is Hatem Bashar. I'm from Tunisia. It's a small country in North Africa between Italy and Algeria. Population 10 million people, it never changes for some reason. Everybody migrates, that's basically why. I came to the United States in 1989 as a graduate student. Now that's easily said. I hear people talk about scholarships all the time here. In a country like mine, it's not easy to get a scholarship. They do offer scholarships to the top student in every field in the whole country. So it's part of a program called the Presidential Academic Award. Now, I came here once in the 80s to compete in a big competition called the Olympics. And I fell in love with the United States. And I said, one day I will come back here. I didn't know, I thought maybe I'd come back as an athlete, but I came back more for academic purposes. So I started my graduate school in '89 and eventually graduated and started working, and it was very difficult to become a citizen because there were conditions on my Fulbright scholarship that I'm not allowed to stay here once I'm done with my school. Although I'm married to an American, it didn't matter. They said you need to go back home. But eventually they realized that maybe I'm a little bit more valuable here than at home, and I became a citizen in 2006. So I have two boys. They're both born here, and I'm really proud of the fact that they're born in the United States. I do keep a little bit of a cultural background from where I came from, so they are raised with a little bit of a hybrid way in a little bit of my culture, but mostly the environment here, and I try to give them the best of values. But the values come from within. So my family is basically a combination of the values I brought from home plus the values I learned here, and it's all about decency, being a good person, being a positive person, being a productive person. I don't foresee any immigrant coming to this country not to be productive, and that has to be understood. That if we're here to make ourselves better, provide our family with an opportunity, but make everything around us better. And I have been an educator all my life and a coach, and I think every single day I learn something new, but at the same time I try to teach people around me what it means to be an American, because the most sinful thing people would do is to take this place for granted. It bothers me when people take this place for granted, because people will do everything to be part of this beautiful country. And like I said in the past, nobody understands how meaningful that is until you actually go live somewhere else for a while. Then you understand that we shouldn't take this place for granted.
It's hard, but it's more opportunities of my country, because my country is very hard, but you don't see the money. And here you can work and you can see the money, and you can have for help to my family in my country, the orphanage in my country too. I send the money every 3 months, or I collect the money for the orphanage. It's 15 kids in my city town, and I'm so glad for help. It's too easy for me, work hard, but I can see the money and I can help to people too. So, yeah, I'm so happy in United States. I have many dreams, my house, my son, graduation, my daughters, and I want to bring my parents
for nice to me in here.
Okay, hi, my name is Yunus and I'm from Morocco. I came to America on 2006 and I came from like a poor village. The thing that inspires me in America is like there's like a lot of stuff to do, there's a lot of like culture to learn, there's a lot of people to meet, and the main thing makes me speak English is to know like a lot of things about this country. First of all, the culture, the food, the people, the population, the traditions, all that. And I came from like a country that's like, it's a good country, but there's not too much opportunities over there. You have to do a lot of things to get like a good job. You have to know people to get like things done in the right way. Here it's more easier. When you talk, when you speak the language, when you learn, when you like educate yourself, work hard, you will get there. And now I'm glad I'm American. I have my citizenship. I went through a program called ESL, which is like English as second language, which helped me a lot. I'm an American citizen. I'm proud of it, and I'm happy to be. Because that helps me like everywhere I go when I travel around. Now I work like for Boost Mobile as a salesperson, which is giving me like more chances to know things, how it's done. So I'm glad I'm here.
Hello, my name is Minh. I'm from Vietnam and have been here for 3 years and a half. I'm so excited to become a US citizen in the future. And yeah, I very like Louisiana. Louisiana is the best state I have been living for because, you know, Louisiana people is very friendly and they got nice weather for me to live in. I'm a student in Baton Rouge Community College now. I'm trying to take my education degree about become a mathematics teacher in the future. Yep. It's not an easy role for me to go, but I'm not give up. I will follow it until I get it and yeah, become the thing I really want. I wanna stay on the road and help everybody understand about mathematics. So yay, thank you.
Wow, so such inspiring stories. And so many of us take living here and just the accident of being born here for granted. Those of us who were lucky enough to be born here. It was such a pleasure for me to meet those people. Can I just point out that I naively thought they could all come to the old state capitol so I could film them here within this beautiful building. But no, they're working 2 and 3 jobs and also undertaking volunteer responsibilities. And so you'll notice that some of them I went out into the field and took them there. So I was really, really inspired. I'm always impressed with a strong work ethic. And I personally know 2 of them, and one of them has been the godfather to my 2 sons. So I am really inspired by the story of new immigrants here to the United States for many reasons. Well, I do have some questions, some from the chat box and some coming in on my phone. And I just thought if we just have a few minutes to address some of those, and then I'll let you go out into the world. And those of us who are Americans feel extra proud and lucky. And those of us who are on our way, be sure that the rest of us do what we can to support what they'd like to do in that journey to become Americans. Because one thing is very clear to me tonight: it's not easy, but everyone is united in a single purpose to bring what they can to America. So Vicki, our first speaker who teaches ESL, our question was about volunteer work, because you said many of the students in your class also are doing volunteer work. And I noticed that too when I went out to film some of these people. So somebody asked if that was mandatory. And I said it wasn't, but it was a good way to get to know the community and improve English. But actually, you're the expert on that. What is the expert's answer to that question about volunteering?
Okay, can you hear me? You
yes, yes, indeed.
Can you hear me? Okay, great. Okay, no, it is never a requirement to do volunteer work. But over my 30-something years in this field, I've found that my students typically want to give back to the community, whether it's their immediate community, their fellow countrymen, or the people who speak their language. They see the need and they want to do it. Also, the ones who have children in school are very excited about helping in the classroom and helping the school. And I've also had students who went online looking for volunteer opportunities. For example, volunteering at the Baton Rouge Food Bank. The side benefit to them was the great feeling they got from contributing their efforts, and also getting to speak English with Americans outside of the classroom. But they just did it from their hearts. They just wanted to give back, but it's never a requirement for citizenship.
Thanks. And I've got another question for you, Vicki, while I've got you. It looks like you may have just lost your power. Am I wrong in that, by the way? You okay?
4 days.
Oh, yeah.
4 days in subarctic temperatures inside a 100-year-old house.
Crazy.
But we're nice and toasty warm now. Yeah.
Good, good, good. So there are changes in the immigration test. So at the Old State Capitol, as a part of this exhibit, you can pick up a random set of questions from the immigration test to see how you would do on it. And there are often changes to that. And so recently, they have reverted back to a test that was given in 2018. Do you want to give us some background as to why that might be, and also what the changes mean?
Okay, approximately every 10 years, the citizenship test is updated. It's revised and updated to make it more relevant to the times. And that's not just the 100 questions, that's the reading and writing sample. They want it to be relevant to real life. They spent about 2 years revising the test for citizenship, and our program was excited to be part of the pilot study. And then COVID sort of put a halt on things because nobody could get together. The new test had 124 or 128 questions. You had to be prepared to answer correctly 12 out of 20. However, last night, just as I was leaving my classroom, I got a notification from USCIS, the immigration office, that they were reverting to the previous test, which was created in 2008.
Oh, okay.
8, yeah. And that will become effective, I think, March 1st. People will no longer be taking the brand new one. They will be taking that one. And from what I understood, it was that there was a lot with the new test that was inaccessible to a lot of people. And so I'm not sure of all the finer points, but they've decided to take a step back and go to the old test, which is exciting for us because we have tons of free materials given to us by USCIS to share with our students in our citizenship class. So now we don't have to dispose of all those. We can continue using them.
Oh, good. So how do people reach you if they want to brush up on their English, enroll in classes, or take advantage of other services that is offered through your program, which, by the way, was originally through the Catholic Church, if I'm not mistaken. No, Catholic Charities?
No, two separate programs.
Okay.
2 separate programs. They can call our desk, our help desk, and I believe you have that phone number.
Okay.
I don't have it right in front of me.
Okay.
And they can ask for information there because it's really too much to explain in the.
Okay, no, that's fine. I'm gonna look up the number and then the website for your program through East Baton Rouge Parish Schools is through the East Baton Rouge Parish School System?
Yes, EBRPSS, East Baton Rouge Parish School System, Adult and Continuing Education. And then they can click on programs and you will see ESL or English as a second language. And they can find out about our program there.
All right. I will put the number for Catholic Charities and the website that you're talking about in the chat box.
Caroline, not Catholic Charities.
Oh, tell me, say it again.
EBRPSS.
Oh, yeah, that's through East Baton Rouge Parish School System.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. And I've got a couple questions for the Mylori folks. So Mr. Sesay and Sharon, gosh, I'm embarrassed that I keep saying your last name incorrectly, Sharon. Will you say it for me again?
Naji.
Naji, thank you. And I'm sorry, yeah, Naji. In fact, we were talking on the phone and I said, gosh, it must be hard on top of everything else that Americans like me want to welcome you and we can't even say your name correctly, so I apologize. So you said in your talk that you pay particular focus to vulnerable immigrants, to vulnerable people coming in. So by that, you mean they have even more difficult problems. So are they escaping from war and persecution? Is that what you meant by that?
Well, when you talk about vulnerability, you have to understand that we all came out of our countries, not by choice, but by circumstance. I, for one, I'm from a country that has suffered crisis and war in the last 4 to 5 years. And that being said, Mr. Sesay, for example, also came from a country like that, seeing his father, his sister being burned to death. So we all came to the United States, not by choice, but by circumstances. And just like myself and Mr. Sesay, we are not different from immigrants who are all coming all across from the world to the United States. They all have similar situations like we do. They all have gone through excruciating pain, inhumane treatment from a place they call home. Seeing your father being killed, seeing your relatives being burned alive, and seeing yourself surviving, and you find yourself in another country, is by circumstance. You have to choose to live the life we are living right now. It's not by choice. Home is home to everyone, but America is our new home. Thank you.
You're so welcome. Boy, yeah, I don't think, it's just another reminder of how lucky those of us who happen to have been born here have been. And I don't know if you wanted to add to that, Mr. Sesay, or not. I did have a question coming in on my phone about how things have changed since the pandemic. You started to address that. The pandemic seems to affect vulnerable communities, I'll say, more than others. And I'm not sure about healthcare availability for some of those communities. If you want to address that, and I believe I've gotten every question from my phone and the chat box, but if you have anything to say about that, let us know, and we'll close out with that.
Thank you so much for the question. That is a great question. Yes, we talked about vulnerability, and if you take into consideration, I just want to add to what my colleague mentioned.
Yeah.
Majority of us, we came here with different skill sets and different educational backgrounds. Some of us, we are fortunate to begin school back home, and know a little bit of English. Others are coming here, and I know Miss Vicky can attest to that. Others are coming here with no English background. So the vulnerability level is diverse based on the skill set and also the language and experience coming into the United States. But the emotional part also, pain, is also different. Some of us experience terrible situation, as my colleague mentioned. Now, we talk about COVID-19. Yes, during the start of COVID, and there was a lot of misinformation spread in the community. And the fear also was so great. Because at that time, they have what we call a public charge. That's a whole topic on itself. A public charge, which is, it is if you become a burden to the United States, and that means you lose some of the status that you have here in the United States, the public charge that was enforced by the previous administration. That even make community members were afraid during the start of the COVID-19 to even go get tested, thinking that go get tested will affect them. Some of them are permanent residents, and so that made they think that it will affect them to get their citizenship. Some of us that came as a refugee, go get tested, make us afraid. We live in fear, thinking that if I got tested, and then that will prevent me to reunite with my family. Like I'm there, I want to reunite with my mom that I haven't seen for over 20 years. So that fear is within the community. So what we do as an organization, we launch what we call the One Community Dialogue, which is a safe virtual platform in order to educate our community and bring information to our community that will educate them, encourage them, and empowers them. And we get governmental officials, we get staff from the Louisiana Department of Health come and talk about COVID-19. We got the USCIS community relation officers. At that time, it was Annie Ackett. She came and talked to the community. So we bring speakers from every walks of life, come and share factual information to the community in order to diffuse the fear.
Wow. Misinformation can really throw things off and instill fear, which means less rational decisions are made. Yeah, I didn't mean to cut you off, but that's impressive. So where the need arises, your organization is working with established healthcare facilities and professionals in order to make sure the information getting out there is correct and resources are being provided. Wow.
That is correct. And we got a session that is coming up this Sunday. Also, we're launching again because of the vaccine. Vaccination is coming and people are afraid to take the vaccine. Community members are getting misinformation. So now we're bringing experts again to encourage the community so that knowing that this is safe and hear it from community members and hear it also from the experts. Initially, we had challenges, which is in Africa and outside of the United States, we used to interpersonal relation, which is you connect and you do an in-person event. Now getting to the virtual event, it was also another challenge. Especially someone that cannot even read and write in your own language. And how to learn how to use the internet and how to join virtually. The 2020 census was at that time was in, voter sensitization was going on, and we have the pandemic also going on. We want to find a way to reach out to the community. So we just have to be creative and find avenues to reach out. And then we got volunteers that help in one-on-one mentoring through the phone, tutoring people how to use Zoom or Google Meet. So it was a challenging, and we urge everyone to look at our program. We do offer citizenship preparedness. We offer immigrants that want to seek asylum, seeking protections. We work with other pro bono attorneys in order to help with that. And the thing that we big with is the cultural promotion and enhancements. Every year, June 20, we recognize World Refugee Day. 2019, we hold one of the biggest, which over 1,000, close to 1,000 people in attendance at the Louisiana, the Goodwood Library. And now the library has become small for us, for our activities.
Wow, that's pretty good. That's a testament to your success. Wow.
Yeah, we bring the world to Baton Rouge when we host those activities where immigrants from all walks of life show their food, the culture, performance, food from everywhere, and the activity is free. Everyone come and get a taste of the world. Hopefully we'll put this pandemic behind us and we'll come back to it, where everyone will come and feel a taste of the world that we're gonna bring to Louisiana. And
thank you so much. Oh, that sounds fantastic. I've got your website in the chat box, mylori.org. And I've got one last question. We'll close it out to let folks rejoin their families, because Dauda, I hear your children in the background and they need their daddy. Someone asked, oh, I know this person too, and I know she speaks 3 languages fluently. She's asking, is there a need for ESL teachers? And it sounds like any kind of mentoring as volunteers could be helpful for you, Mr. Sesay. And Vicki, can you give me a thumbs up if you all can use volunteer ESL assistance? Not at the moment. Okay. No. Okay. So East Baton Rouge Parish School System, it's either paid folks, and that would be through their website, but volunteers sounds like could work with mylori.org. Is that right? To help with English acquisition. And Margot, who answered that question, I'll find out more about that for you too. Y'all, thank you very, very much. It's always good to talk to people who are so dedicated to what they do. I know the hours of work you spend on this goes way beyond the paid hours, your official hours on your paycheck. I also am happy that this Louisiana story connects directly to our current exhibit at the Old State Capitol, which I encourage you all to come and see. We are always free of charge. We're open Tuesdays through Saturdays. You can come safely. Please wear a mask. It's a huge building, so there are sanitation stations available throughout. You can check out our website, LouisianaOldStateCapital.org, to learn more about that exhibit. We have a walkthrough if you would prefer to see it from home, and other exhibits that we have here. Thanks again to all of our participants. I hope to keep in touch with our panelists as well for future program ideas. Thank you all for all you do. And thank you, all of you, for joining us tonight. Take care, stay safe and well.
Thank you. Thank you.
Bye. So much.
Very interesting.
Thank you so much. I'm so glad you enjoyed it. Hey, Margo.
I enjoyed. Thank you so much. Bye. Thanks, Vicki, for the great work you do.
Bye.